That's how I ended up at Morehouse. I went to Morehouse for one reason only, because they were getting 35 black men in medical school and dental school a year,
Right.
right? And that's where we met. We were both there for the same reason, right?
That
And
is
guess
good.
what? We were one of the 35.
That is correct. So tell me a little bit about what you gained when you got to Morehouse College. Uh, like I said, we were both there, and then we did see all these other gentlemen going to medical school. What did you gain coming from Gary, and you seeing all these people from all over the country? What was that like for you?
So I found myself in Gary, where people telling you what you can't be, right? Teachers and stuff like that, including one of them. Everybody thinking I should be a jock. I did play football, was recruited by colleges and stuff like that, but was focusing on Morehouse. Got to Morehouse, then I met brothers like you, right? I mean, who were the smartest cats I had ever seen in my life. Man, Oscar, you, uh, 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 what was the brother, the skiing back brother? Um, uh,
Ramon Keaton.
Ramon Keaton, right? I
Yeah.
mean, we can name them. See, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, I was like, whoa, I didn't know they had black brothers like that. I didn't know they had young black men like that. And inspired me to be smarter, to be better, to understand. And then we had Tom Blocker, who's pouring into us, J.K. Haynes, the whole environment was pouring into us the idea that we can make these things happen, right? That's why you see a lot of us doing all these cool things. That's why you're doing this show, man. That's a part of who we are, right? That's the Morehouse thing. And that culture, that environment was pouring that into us. That is, you do not settle, you build, you grow. I mean, you think about it, man. Maynard Jackson would be seen on campus, right? I mean, you think about, the Nile Valley Conference, Jacob Diop, right, was there, Ivan Van Sertima, Hakimade Booty. They had a pring right there on the campus, right, our freshman year. This is what I'm talking about. Morehouse was the most amazing thing ever,
For
ever.
young, yes, especially for young aspiring men who were looking for the blueprint. I think
Correct.
you mentioned Thomas J. Blocker, and we do a lot with his foundation now, but he laid the blueprint to make it seem like it wasn't a far-reaching goal. I went to quite a
Correct.
few programs with people from Ivy League schools who were looked like me, and then they would go to counselors who would try to get them or dissuade them from going into medicine. Maybe you should try something a
That's
little
right.
less challenging. You're not medical school material. So
That's
we
right.
didn't get that. I woke up,
No.
I knew that at my where I was, there were the Willie Underwoods, the Ramon Keatons, the Jeffrey Weddingtons who were getting it, the
That's
Oscar
right.
Jerkins. I
That's
wanted to
right.
compete.
That's right.
I was in the sports earlier in my life too, so I was a competitor. I wanted to be the best.
That's right.
So we're gonna
Correct.
see who's gonna be the top student, who's gonna stand up in that
That's right.
class as the top
Correct.
student. So I welcome
That's
that
right.
challenge because
That's
as
right.
they say now, iron sharpens iron. So
That's
that
right.
was a great time for me as a student as well. So
Correct.
I really enjoyed my time there. And
So let me just say. Let me just say. So this sort of so that the viewers would could understand. So in biology, after we got the test, the top 10 students were their names were called, and you had to stand up, right? So everyone saw who were the top 10 students out of the 100 who performed on this exam, right? On the test. That's what someone's talking about. So we're all jockeying to be one of those 10 standing up there to say, yes, I busted this test out, right? And I'm because we were competing, but at the same time, we were all helping each other too,
that's right.
right? We weren't competing in a way. We were like, oh no, 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 no. Tell you what, I'm getting 100. Now you can get 100 too,
That's right.
right? Well, I'm getting 100. So come along, we gonna bust our butts together, right? And we all gonna make this happen. But in the end, if the one man standing, it's gonna be me.
That's correct.
Right? Because we all gonna be busting our butt working hard, right? Burning the midnight oil, burning the candle in the dark, as Benjamin Mays talked about, right?
That is true. That is true. So